Hey there, and welcome back. And if you're new, welcome in. So for today's video, pretty much I'm going to be talking about Nahida, and technically, pretty much this is kind of more or less like a guide, since what? As of now, technically recording, the banner just dropped. I'm going to say like, well, I'm recording at like 3 in the morning, so like 7 hours ago. So if you're going for Cloud Retainer, best of luck, and same with the new character. But if you're going for Nahida, which she has several reruns, or if you just want to get more Constellations, either or, best of luck as well. And honestly, good luck with the weapons too, because Sacrificial is honestly is one of the few really good sets that you can always go for. And then there are the weapons as well, which I haven't checked them out fully, but still though. Anyways, best of luck with your wishes, and let's get on with the video. So first things first, when it comes to Nahida, Elemental Mastery is technically the highest priority when it comes to what you need and technically have. Why do I have this? Seems I am off a piece actually. But still, normally Elemental Mastery is technically the highest priority, which you usually want to have about 800-ish. I'm currently lacking, unfortunately, due to some of my artifacts not being where they needed to be. And attack and defense, kind of important, but not really. And then you gotta make sure she has a decent amount of HP, unless you have a very good healer or a shielder to pretty much keep her alive as much as possible. And then crit rate and crit damage is honestly not that important. Energy recharge, technically you might want to increase it, because mine has 32. I'd probably say to be on the safe side, go around maybe 30. But then again, I kind of technically don't have the weapon that gives me a bit more energy recharge, but it's fine. But that's more or less about the gist of it when it comes to the stats. And then technically you might want to get Dendro too, but when it comes to the weapons, 3-star options, she doesn't really have that many, unless I'm overlooking something. But at the moment that I'm thinking of, she doesn't really have any good 3-star weapons. When it comes to the 4-star weapons, Sacrificial, it's, in my opinion, probably the better ones, especially since it has a reduced cooldown too. So chances are, let's say you missed one of the enemies, you can just press it again, make sure you grab the last enemy, and then you double scan everyone to do just a giant, massive, technically AoE damage attack. But honestly, it's pretty good. Now, when it comes to the Favonius, technically, if you're going with Favonius, it helps with energy recharge, because where's the max? I do not have a max leveled one. But pretty much, you might want to get some crit rate to make sure that you're able to get the energy particles that it needs. But then again, out of the two, I'd recommend Sacrificial the most. Now, technically, there is the Mappa, which is a craftable, but even then, it pretty much falls behind when it comes to Elemental Mastery. Attack, yeah, it beats it by a bit more, but then again, that skill cooldown is always a nice cushion to have, in my opinion. Technically, there is Widsith, but that's if you want to make her a bit more of a main DPS, like a regular Dendro DPS instead of like a Elemental Mastery DPS. And then same with Solar Pearl. But then again, that's in the Battle Pass. And then for the, oh, my fault, Favonius, Sacrificial, and Widsith, you kind of have to wish for, while Mappa is technically a craftable. So there's that. Now, when it comes to the 5-star weapons, technically there is her weapon, but honestly, I prefer Sacrificial. But then again, I don't really have it to test it out either. So there is that too. And then honestly, when it comes to the other weapons that I currently have, they're not the best because they don't really suit her. Because like I mentioned earlier, Elemental Mastery is one of the most important stats for her. But still, 5 stars, probably her main, pretty much weapon, her designated weapon. When it comes to 4 stars, personally I prefer Sacrificial, then Favonius, and then maybe what's it. But then if you have Mappa, then I'd go with Sacrificial, Mappa, Favonius, then Witsit. And then 3-star options, honestly, there isn't really any. Technically, there's thrillers, but it's like, yeah. So though, that's pretty much more or less everything when it comes to the weapons. Now, when it comes to the artifact sets, technically, right here is also a little indicator to help you out. There's Deepwood, Gildred, and then technically you can go with the 2-piece, although there is also, where is it? This one, Paradise, which honestly, I kind of prefer this one, but then again, you need to make sure you at least have, with this, it helps with Dendro resistance, because you're shredding the resistance overall. Oh, 1 second. Sorry about that. So with this, there is Deepwood, since whatchamacallit, like I was mentioning, it reduces the Dendro resistance of the target, so the enemy, by 30% for 8 seconds, which can be triggered even if the character is not on field, which honestly, pretty nice. But then again, you'd probably want to have like 2 Dendro characters, at least in my opinion. You can have a Dendro character with this Deepwood set, and then technically you can just slap on Paradise Lost on Nahida, because what Paradise Lost is pretty much more DPS-ish, and then helps with reactions as well, while Deepwood technically helps more with resistance, like shredding the resistance. So depending on which one you want to go with, it's pretty nice. Then there is technically the second one that they like, which is this one, Gilded, because what all 3 do, pretty much almost 2 do the same. Paradise and Gilded increase elemental mastery by 80%, while Dendro technically increases Dendro damage by 15%. And for Gildred, on top of that, the more of the same characters you have in your party that have the same element, the pretty much more damage you get. As for the other one, technically the more reactions you get, the more damage you do. And then there is Deepwood that pretty much allows you to do a bit more damage, but shreds their resistance towards said element, which is Dendro. Honestly, pretty good. And then you have 2 options. Either one, technically, I have no idea why I have this one, by the way. So the Sands usually want technically Elemental Mastery, Elemental Mastery, and Elemental Mastery. But due to me currently not having one of the elements that I need, I am not able to use it to its full potential, unfortunately. So I shall be sticking with Deepwood at the moment, although it looks like I accidentally ended up getting rid of some of the artifact sets that I needed. But enough of that. Now, when it comes to the Constellations, honestly, she's extremely good at C0, but a few Constellations are a bit more unique. By unique, I mean like if you have, you will not regret it. Which honestly, we'll start off with C6. C6 by far is one of her stronger ones. Then her next one, technically, that's good, is technically C4. And afterwards, before that, C2 is an extremely good one, because most of I'll talk about them in a sec. And then technically C1's okay. It just slightly does like an additional boost to one of her passives. But first, C2. So pretty much whenever she does a reaction, they receive it's a guaranteed crit rate hit. And on top of that, also a crit damage boost as well. And on top of that, further decreases their defense. So overall, C2. And if you want more Constellations, you might as well just jump all the way to C6. C4, it's nice, but honestly, it just slightly increases elemental mastery. But then again, chances are, if you have a good amount of artifact sets, or a good artifact set, you don't really have to worry about elemental mastery, since your minimum you need is like 800, which if you already have that, then you're set. But if you don't, technically you have other stuff that allow you to get the boost. But then again, C4 also gives you like the safety net, but still. Personally, C2 or C6, maybe C4 technically could be considered a good stopping point, but that's about it. C3, pretty much a skill. C4 is burst. Now then, for her talents, you pretty much want to prioritize all three. Since what? With her burst, her burst has an effect, so depending on the element you have will affect the outcome. So if you have pyro, you do more damage. When it comes to electro, the pretty much helps with the elemental skill. And then when it comes to hydro, allows the burst to pretty much last longer. And pretty much here it tells you everything. Because what? With one character, pyro character, increases damage by 23%. When it comes to two, it increases to 35. Now when it comes to electro, technically, what was it? It reduces, I think, the cooldown by 0.4 seconds, and then if you have two, it decreases it by 0.6. Now when it comes to hydro, it allows the burst to last, what's the base duration? 15 seconds. However, if you have one hydro character, it increases to 20 seconds. However, if you have two hydros, it increases it by 8 seconds, so that then increases one character 20 seconds, 0.32 if you want to be specific. When it comes to two, it increases from 15 to all the way to 23, which honestly, pretty good, not gonna lie. And then obviously, like I mentioned right there, the more of the same element, which I'm pretty sure it's stacked up to 2. However, with C1, technically, that one ability is able to increase even more by another ability. So, or token, technically, because with one character, it's one token. With two characters, it's 2 tokens. But then with C1, technically, it counts as 3 tokens, which does an additional boost. But that's that when it comes to the burst. When it comes to technically, also, I forgot to mention, the burst also increases elemental mastery as well, which is mostly due to this passive right here, compassion illuminated. Because right here, pretty much whenever a team is within the little burst, their elemental mastery is increased, which is a maximum of 250, which is 25% of the elemental mastery of the party member that is technically the highest, which is most likely going to be her. So it's going to be about 25% of 761. But usually if you kind of want to like max it out, technically, around 800 to possibly 1,000 elemental masteries, pretty much all you need, which honestly really good. And now when it comes to awakening, pretty much for every elemental mastery that's what past 200 will grant a 0.1 boost to damage and then a 0.0 to crit rate, which honestly a maximum you can do is 80 and then 24, which this is where elemental mastery comes in clutch again. So you usually want to have about 800 if not more. And then for the last one, you just use the skill to collect items on the overworld, which overall the skill is extremely good. So these two are extremely good, but to make sure that she does a bit more damage, you usually want to kind of level up her normal attack as well. But honestly, that is that when it comes to those. Now it's time to do a little showcase, which I have one element of each, so I shall be technically getting a boost for all the elements right there. I just hope she doesn't die due to me not having a healer. Well, I have a healer too, if anything, but a shielder is what I wanted to say. 1, 2, 3. She has 4 normal attacks. So let's give it a shot. And pretty much right here, you're just gonna see his HP get shredded. Although, if you have double hydras, oh, it's insane. Whoa. I kind of want to show you a full Dendro team, if I'm being honest. And, ooh, there we go. So that was like a decent amount of speed when it comes to doing damage. Which honestly, pretty good. However, now I'm going to show you a double, pretty much Hydro. So we're going to go with the double Hydro, Pyro, and then Nahida herself. Since her Dendro application is honestly by far the strongest in the team. And not only that, her HP increases even more due to having 2 Hydros in the team as well. So first things first. Honestly, I'm probably not even gonna maybe use Benny at all. Now then. Also, her her elemental mastery was currently at 951, or was around like 700 something. Now it's at 951. So pretty much, we'll see this now. It's like, as you can see, it's like insane. But then again, you also want to make sure you have a good amount of healing. Because she will be killing herself with her own little dendropores. Oh, I did say I wasn't gonna use Bendy, didn't I? There we go. So you usually want to have like a good healer, not like a pyro healer, preferably. Technically, I could have gone with Barbara, but or if anything, I could have gone with Kokomi. But it's fine. But overall, double Hydro is already extremely good. And if you switch Benny out for, shoot, I don't even know. Even we'll go with Cookie, if anything. Her damage just increases even more. We'll give it one last shot. And let's see how fast I can technically shred this guy. Ooh, look at that. Oh, look at that. And the bursts are already ready. Look at that. Look at that. Dude, it's insane, man. But still. Yeah, overall, Nahida, she's an extremely powerful character. So if you want to go for her, C0 is perfectly fine. If you want to get more constellations to make her do more damage for whatever reason, or you just like seeing big numbers, just go for it. Weapon wise, you don't really need her weapon, although technically it looks nice on her, but even then it's just sacrificial is better. And especially since it's on the banner too, so it's a plus. But yeah, honestly, that is about it when it comes to Nahida. So if you end up enjoying this little quote-unquote guide video, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. Really helps out the channel. And also, I think I got everything. I could be wrong. Also, personal opinion, these sets are nice, but if you have another gender character to deal with the whole deep wood, I'd recommend Flower of Paradise a lot more. But that is that. So until next time, later nerds, take care.